They're mad at their old self. They're mad at their old self, and they wake up every single day and they're pissed off at their old self because their old self wasn't mature enough, their old self wasn't doing the right things, and they wake up day in and day out and they're pissed off at their old selves, okay? That's not the way you want to be. You want to be able to look back at your life and say, I'm so proud of what I did. I'm so happy that I made those sacrifices in the past because now I'm at this place in my life and it's, insane compared to where I would be if I was doing such and such and such other thing. If you are 20 years old or younger, you came to the right video. Today I'm going to share with you 5 money tips that you must know if you are 20 years old or younger, guys. These money tips are going to help you immensely in life and you just kind of got to know them. Now, why did I use 20 years old specifically? Well, I kind of consider like most people's financial lives starting when you're around 20 years old. Prior to that, you're in high school and whatnot, and you don't really care too much, and then you kind of get out of high school and maybe you go to college or something like that, and you're not really paying that close attention to money, or at least most people aren't, right? Then all of a sudden you kind of get to 20, a little, above 20, 21, 22, and you really start paying attention more and more to money because you eventually want to move out of your parents' house and things like that. So the average person, they start paying much more attention to money around that age. So today I'm going to share with you guys 5 money tips that you must know, and I hope these help you out immensely in life because they are very, very important. Let's get into the first one. The first one is all around taxes, okay? So taxes, you've got to pay attention to taxes. Now, you might think, oh, it's super complicated. That is false. Taxes are not super complicated unless you've got tons of businesses and tons of different family members and living situations. It can be complicated, but for the average single person out there who works, for a company, it is not complicated. That is a complete lie. Taxes are so complicated. They are not so complicated, okay? And I'm going to tell you, how you can kind of research on taxes and whatnot. But the way you need to view taxes is you've got this lifelong partner. You've got this lifelong partner you can't ditch, okay? It's called the U.S. government. Well, if you live in the United States, but even if you live internationally, you probably got some country that's, a lifelong partner with you. They're always going to want a piece of the pie, okay? So you got this partner over here that always wants a piece of the pie, right? But you don't know how much they want. It's going to depend on how much you make. It's going to depend on deduction. It's going to depend on a lot of things. What most people do is they don't pay serious attention to taxes. And what they end up doing is they end up filing a lot of things incorrectly and end up paying way more money in than they should have because they didn't know about this credit over here. They didn't know about this deduction over here. They didn't know, oh, I should organize my life a little bit more toward this way because that's going to give me a big tax advantage. They don't take any of that account. They don't even think about this. But the fact is, the government is a lifelong partner with you who's always going to want their cut. They're always going to want their cut, okay? So they always want their cut, but you don't know, how much of it is. They might want 15%. They might want 25%. They may want 35%. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors. So the IRS website is phenomenal. You need to study the IRS website into full, okay? They got everything in there about credits, deductions, everything like that. IRS.gov. I highly suggest you study up on there. This is not rocket science, okay? Taxes is not rocket science. It gets much harder as you get older, okay? I got a wife, I got 2 kids, I got income streams, I got stocks. It gets more complicated as time goes on, but when you're young like that, these taxes aren't complicated. They are not complicated at all. You just got to make sure you're getting the right credits and deductions and things like that and you're filing correctly. So that is very, very important because let's think about it. If there was a credit you didn't know about and that credit could have saved you $1,000 on your taxes when you're 20 years old, imagine what that $1,000 could be in the future if it was invested correctly or things like that. Or just imagine how that would change things. But no, you said you were, it's too complicated. I don't want to look into it. And so then that $1,000 just goes bye-bye. It's a really, really bad decision, guys. And don't just throw it off as, the corner store over there, they say taxes on the thing. They say, $50 and they'll do my taxes for me. That's not really the right attitude either because, okay, you pay for what you get, okay? You get what you pay for, I guess you could say, right? Some of those tax places, especially if you go during March and April, and you're like, here, file my taxes for me. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, and a lot of these, shady places, a lot of them just do it as fast as possible, okay? They just do it as fast as possible. They're trying to make as much money as possible. They're real busy. Everybody's trying to bring them their taxes. They're just wiping them out, Who knows? Did they really look into it? Did they really do full in-depth research? Are they really going to do full in-depth research on everything in your living situation and ask you a ton of questions for $49? I highly doubt it, guys. So you got to kind of think in that mindset. Pay attention to taxes. You got a lifelong partner. It's the government. They're always going to want some sort of a piece. You just got to figure out what kind of piece they want. The number 2 money tip every single person that's 20 years old must know is $1 today is not the same as $1 in the future. Anyone that's ever, do you ever remember being a little kid and going to a store with your grandparent? Hopefully that happened at some point in time, because there's a very, very strong likelihood that if you went to the store with your grandparent and you were a little kid, there was probably some time when that grandparent said to you, oh my gosh, I remember back when I was your age, we could have bought this and that. You ever go to the corner store with them and they're like, oh my gosh, $1. When I was your age, we could have bought a gallon of gas, we could have bought 3 candy bars, we could have bought a soda and a bag of chips all for $1. Now you can't even get a candy bar. That's what I'm talking about, guys. There's something called inflation out there, okay? You've got to understand inflation, because what this basically means is that the dollars you are earning right now are not going to be worth as much in the future, okay? Everything gets more expensive over time. Everything gets much more expensive over time. Now, there are certain periods, 5-year, 10-year periods when inflation is really high and everything is just becoming much more expensive very rapidly. And there are times when inflation is kind of tame and, things are just barely going up in price and whatnot. So, but understand, things are going up in price over time, okay? Everything's going to get more expensive. A gallon of milk is going to be much more expensive 10 years from now than it is today, okay? And that's pretty much across the board. A carton of eggs is going to be more expensive 10 years from now than it is today. Inflation, prices just go up and up and up, and that's how it is. So you need to kind of think in the mindset that if you're thinking about, let's say you're thinking about retirement someday, you can't think in the terms of, oh, $1 million is all I need, or $3 million or $2 million or whatever. That's all I need to retire, because it's not really how it works. Because guess what? If you're 20 years old and you're watching this, if you want to retire and you're 50 years old or 60 years old or 70 years old, like $1 million and $3 million is going to be dramatically less in the future than it is today, okay? So it's something you got to understand. Inflation is very important. $1 today is not the same as $1 tomorrow. Trust me on that. The number 3 money tip every single 20-year-old must understand out there is $1 today could potentially be many more dollars a few years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, okay? I could have this marker here. I could have this one marker. And if I invest this correctly, it can add up to all these markers here, okay? That is investing. Your money making you money. It is so, so key. Like I spoke about, if you just put all your money under a mattress, let's say you just put all your money you earn throughout your life under a mattress, right? Those dollars, or whatever currency you're in, okay, are going to become less and less and less valuable over time. However, if you invest, the more than likely, as long as you don't do super risky things, you're going to make more and more money into the future, okay? If you just buy it doesn't matter if you buy real estate properties, if you just invest in index funds in the stock market, anything like that that can grow your money, you're going to grow a lot of money over time. And now $1 that, let's say you put into that, investing account or whatever, $1 you put into your investing account 20 years ago, all of a sudden grows to be that $1 is now worth $10, or that $1 is now worth $20, okay? So it's dramatically different. You've got to understand investing. You've got to be researching investing, especially, stock market investing, real estate investing, anything like that. I'm more stock market. That's my style. It doesn't mean it has to be your style. Real estate could be your way, but you've got to understand investing. You've got to grow those dollars, because those dollars become less valuable. Those euros or whatever you're using, they're going to become less and less valuable each and every day, okay? Just a little bit here, a little bit there. They're going to become less and less valuable. But if you're growing it by investments, then you're in a whole different place. You're in a whole different place. So understand you've got to invest. The number 4 money tip I would give to every single person that's a 20-year-old out there is you might not be an employee, okay? There's a lot of times you hear people say things like, not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur, or not everybody's meant to open up a business. Could be true, absolutely. But also, you might not be meant to be an employee. If you're just thinking like, I'm going to work in the workforce and that's going to be my thing, that might not be your calling, okay? You might be limiting yourself in a massive, massive way. First off, like coming from my perspective, like there's so much more money to be made as an entrepreneur than in the workforce. It's not even remotely close, okay? Not initially, that's not how it works, but over time, as long as you're persistent and you understand, oh, I gotta get a little better here, a little better there, a little better marketing, things like that. Like understand there's so much more money to be made as an entrepreneur than in the workforce. You might not be the right person to be in the workforce, okay? Me, myself, I'm not the right person to be in the workforce. When I'm in the workforce, I can't breathe because I feel in a situation like I'm not getting promoted fast enough. I want to rise the ranks and I feel like I'm held back, and it's like, oh no, you got to wait another 2 years. You got to prove yourself for the next 3 years, 5 years, and then we'll promote you and things like that. That's how the workforce works, okay? And that's painful for some people. Some people can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. Like I need to control my own destiny. In the workforce, you can't control your own destiny. It's controlled by your boss and your boss's boss and their boss's boss. Your destiny is controlled by them, okay? And that's how it is. And so you might not be the right one for the workforce, and you just got to understand that. And the earlier you understand it, the better off you'll be, because you'll realize that you might have just been limiting, what you could have done out there, right? You're limiting yourself. If you're just stuck in a workforce environment, right, and you're always, getting down on yourself, oh, I'm still not promoted, I must not be good enough, and then you start losing self-esteem, and then you start losing drive, and that's the worst. I lost my drive for a while when I was in the workforce, okay? I had to leave the workforce for almost 1.5 years to finally get my drive back. That's how down I had got. It drained me, it drained me. I was always, trying to reach for the sky, and there was no sky to grab, because it was like, or there was very little sky to grab. Let's just put it that way, right? That's the workforce for you, okay? So you might not be right for the workforce. You got to figure that out, and you got to just kind of, understand how you feel about things. How do you feel? Do you feel that driven each and every day to keep going out there and working in the workforce? If you do, great. And if you're happy, great. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you, there's a lot of people out there that hate their jobs, hate their workplace, feel drained every single day, and you might not be in the right place, man. Like, you should probably be running a business. You should probably be going out there and doing your own stuff and things like that. So it's another big thing you got to factor in. And on top of that, you get your money right, it's a lot easier to start a business. It's a lot easier to do things because you got money to funnel into that business. You got a lot of time on your side as far as you can pay bills and whatnot. Get money on your side, get savings and whatnot. It's much easier to start a business than if you got no savings, you got no investments, and you're trying to start a business. That's a much harder situation, right? But you got money on your side, it's much easier to start a business, guys. The number 5 money tip that every 20-year-old must understand is, and this one's more important than all of them combined, in my opinion. This is more important than every single money tip combined. And it is the fact that you need to make sacrifices today, and those will benefit you greatly in the future. Make a sacrifice today that the 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you will thank yourself for. You'll be like, thank goodness I did that. Thank goodness I did those sacrifices in the past, because today is unbelievable for me. Because I made those sacrifices 3 years ago, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I am in an unbelievably great financial situation today. Thank you, old me. When I look back at my life, I thank myself. Thank you, Jeremy, for doing those overnights, okay? Thank you for doing those overnights at Quick Trip. Thank you for cleaning all those toilets, because all those things I did in the past made me be in the financial situation I am today. While other people were out partying on Friday night, I was in bed sleeping because I had to get up at 4 a.m. and get ready for work the next Saturday, okay? So everybody else was partying, I was sleeping. I was making sacrifices. Everybody was out there having fun. I was getting my money right, okay? While everybody else, was doing this and doing that, I was saving my money. I was investing my money. I was reading 10Ks, reading 10Qs, all that type of stuff, putting that work. And now I'm able to live this, insane life. And it's because of sacrifices I made in the past, okay? All those sacrifices. When I started YouTube and no one was watching me on YouTube, it was like, what am I doing? Just wasting my time here, no one even cares. You know, the first few months I was on YouTube, but I made that sacrifice. I produced video after video after video, and then they started to get some traction. Thank goodness old Jeremy did that. I wouldn't be here in front of you today, okay? It's just, I can look back at time after time again. Thank goodness I made all these sacrifices because it got me to where I'm at today. That's how you want to be in your life. A lot of people, unfortunately, they're the other way. They look back at their life and they're like, dude, oh, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this? Why was I doing this? That was so stupid. I should have been doing this and this and this. That's how most people look back at their life, and they're mad at their old self. They're mad at their old self, and they wake up every single day and they're pissed off at their old self because their old self wasn't mature enough. Their old self wasn't doing the right things, and they wake up day in and day out and they're pissed off at their old selves, okay? That's not the way you want to be. You want to be able to look back at your life and say, I'm so proud of what I did. I'm so happy that I made those sacrifices in the past because now I'm at this place in my life and it's, insane compared to where I would be if I was doing such and such and such other thing, okay? So, and by the way, and one other point I'll bring up, some people like to say, well, what if you die? What if you die? No one cares at that point. Like, you're not going to care either. You're dead. So that's like a point in this argument. It's like, oh, you could have done something, let's say, super fun, but you decide to make a sacrifice over here and, work or whatever, or, invest or do whatever it is, okay? Let's say that situation. And someone says, oh, well, 3 years from now, you could be dead, okay? You're dead. You don't care anyways. You're dead at that point anyway. So what did it matter? The chances are you're still going to be alive 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. That's the probability, a high probability you'll still be alive then. So, since that's the situation, you need to think for the future, okay? You need to make those sacrifices today because they're going to benefit you in a big way over the coming years. And that's just a fact of life, guys. So, I hope you really enjoyed this today. Money tips that every 20-year-old must understand. They're so important. They can change your life forever. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. Links are down there in the description. Thank you for watching and have a great day.